Well, here we are looking at the all-new, all-aluminum F-150, and this is a big deal for Canada because this truck has been the bestseller in Canada for 48 years, almost half a century, and the best-selling vehicle overall for the last 4 years. It's made of aluminum. It's a high-strength aluminum on the body. Underneath is a newer lightweight steel frame. Now, Ford claims this is just as tough as any F-150 in the past, and they secretly camouflaged one of these trucks and put it in the Baja 1000. Ford also claims they've done millions of test miles on this vehicle. They put it on jigs and shake it. They drop things on it. They torture tested it in their proving grounds. But the real proof will be in the marketplace when people actually get into accidents with these, and how are they going to be able to repair them. It's going to be expensive to fix an all aluminum truck. I'll leave that for the marketplace to decide. But this truck definitely looks like an F-150, much more aggressive and chunky looking, especially like the blacked out grille in this Lariat. And you can get so many different configurations. I can't go into all of them because there are literally hundreds of thousands of different versions of the F-150. First thing I want to do, open the hood and walk through the new engine options. Now, Ford has changed things up under the hood. The base engine is a 3.5 liter V6. That's available on the XL and the XLT. There's a brand new 2.7 liter 6-cylinder EcoBoost engine, a smaller version of the 3.5 liter EcoBoost that I have in this Lariat. Then there's the 5 liter V8 that comes standard on the King Ranch and the Platinum. The new 2.7 liter EcoBoost V6 really has a lot of power and a lot of towing capacity, 325 horsepower and 375 foot-pounds of torque, and can tow 8,500 pounds. That's slightly less than the 9,200 pounds that the new Ram EcoDiesel can tow. The 3.5 liter EcoBoost, the one we have here, 365 horsepower, 420 foot-pounds of torque. The 5 liter is 385 horsepower, 387 foot-pounds of torque, and the towing capacity on that is just over 11,000 pounds. Now, a lot of people are interested in the EcoBoost engines, and in my opinion, they are very efficient if you're not using them for payload, towing or having stuff in the back. A lot of people are going to the 5 liter V8 because it's got known fuel economy in all situations. These are very good engines, these EcoBoost engines. They've been proven to be very durable, but in my experience, they can use a lot more fuel than the posted numbers when they're put to work. This is one business end of the truck. The other end is the real business end. Now, this is the Lariat with the Super Crew with the 4 big doors. Now you see the side step on the back. Ford kind of pioneered this years ago. Easy to get over the side and back down. That's a nice feature. That continues. When you come around the back, one thing about the tailgate, it now locks with the key fob, which is very handy. And it also protects one valuable option with this truck, and that's the tailgate. Why? Well, first of all, you notice there's a soft open on the new F-150, and also there's a ladder available in here. They've had that before, and these were getting stolen. So the fact that you can lock the bed, even with a canopy, definitely is advantageous. Easy to step up, and very quick to deploy, and easy to step down. That's great technology that other manufacturers have not been able to mimic, and it's available in the F-150. You'll also notice that this truck has the spray-in liner. That's a factory option. Nissan were the first ones to develop this in the Titan. There's also LED lighting in the side of the bed. That's a very clever feature and something that'll definitely be welcome. And also there's a no-seam window in the back that you can control from the inside. Just makes it look a little bit more flush. So the one thing I want to point out about this truck, this is a Super Crew with the extra 2 big doors. You can only get it in a 5.5 foot bed. If you want to get a 6.5 foot bed, you have to go to the Super Cab, which gets you the swing out doors. And if you want an 8 foot long bed, you have to go with a regular cab. So really make sure you know what you're going to use it for, snowmobiles, ATVs, or just work. I took this truck to the dump with a whole bunch of decking and fencing that had to go, and I noticed that the bed really is quite short. Of course, you can do it with the tailgate down, but if you want the tailgate up, you really have to think it through. When you look at the inside of the F-150, it's more of an evolution over the previous model. There's still a lot of hard plastic here around the radio and what have you, but this is a work truck and it can be forgiven because it's going to get dirty and wiped down and what have you. You still notice the My Ford Touch with the sync connectivity. That's all in here. The good thing is there are redundant controls as well for the radio and for the heat just below that. You see down here, everything you would use for the heat, including the seat warmers and the coolers and the temperature, it's all easily accessible. And that's because people who use trucks like this, they've typically got gloves on in the winter, and that makes it easier than using the touch screen. Of course, you can do it through the screen, but it's nice to have it down here. Same for the radio. In behind the steering wheel, there's a big TFT screen to get all of your information, and you can click through it with the wheel here on the left-hand side, or the buttons on the left-hand side. Lots of storage, a huge center console, big enough for a laptop or a tablet. There's 2 USB ports in the center. There's also a regular sort of cigarette lighter type plug down there. Up here though, you see another cigarette type lighter plug, but you also have 110 volts when you can plug anything, a tablet, a computer, you name it, into that plug. So lots of functionality on the inside. I think that General Motors has more plugs, I think 5 of them. Ram might be a little bit fancier on the inside, but Ford knows what they're doing, and they've obviously researched their buyers, and they know that this is a vehicle that people are going to use. Now, the back seat of this Super Crew is massive. You can put the seats up and have a huge dry storage area that's lockable, which is great for putting tools and things on the inside. And then when you fold the seats down, it's like a living room back there. We're heading out on a 1,000-kilometer trip with the family this weekend, and my kids are saying they want to take the big F-150 because there's really nothing else on the road that has the kind of room that this truck has. Now we head out on the road to tell you all about the way it drives. So why would Ford come up with an all-aluminum truck and downsize the V6 EcoBoost engine to 2.7 liters? It all comes down to the new fuel economy ratings that are being imposed on the manufacturers, and Ford has invested heavily in this truck with all kinds of new technology. Now that 2.7 liter EcoBoost engine, I've had a chance to drive it, and it is fantastic. It doesn't let you down in terms of power. It has plenty of torque and horsepower and can get 12.2 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 9.2 on the highway. That's pretty impressive stuff, but it's not as efficient as the EcoDiesel from Ram in the 1500. Now the 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine that's in this truck is impressive. One thing I noticed, they've tuned the exhaust. When you push on it hard, it sounds like a V8. It doesn't sound like a 6-cylinder at all. With over 12,000 pound towing capacity, this has the same towing capacity as a 250 Super Duty. But I think that this is great for someone that tows occasionally and drives with their truck empty a lot. If you tow regularly, I think the 5 liter is the way to go. It's going to give you more consistent mileage when the bed is empty and when the vehicle is towing. Okay, I'm just going to pull over here because a couple of things I want to talk about with this new truck. This is the new tech I was alluding to at the beginning. First of all, when you put the car into reverse, there's this new 360-degree camera here. It shows a bird's eye overhead view, and it also can show you where the bumper hooks with the trailer hitch, so when you're backing up and trying to connect a trailer, you can zoom into that. So that's all good stuff. In addition, this car has the automatic parking feature when you pull up and it finds a parking spot for you and then parks the vehicle on its own, which has been available in other Ford products for a while. And the one feature that's not actually on this truck but is available is a feature called Pro Trailer Backup. Now, anybody that's had a trailer attached to a truck and has tried to back it up, you have to know what you're doing. It is opposite to the way you would intuitively drive, and it takes quite a bit of practice to learn how to do it. So Ford has a dial down below the dash, and all you do is you point the trailer where you want it to go, and the truck does all the counter steering maneuvers for you using the electric power steering. So that's all fantastic stuff. All right, let's get on the road again. I want to talk a little bit about what I think of this new vehicle. Well, first of all, it's the most refined F-150 I've ever driven. You can tell right away as soon as you get into it, it's quieter, it's smoother, it's more refined, and the old F-150 was quite a bit louder than the competition, especially the new GMC, which I think is the quietest, and then the Ram. So they've done a good job with all of that. It's very light and easy to maneuver, even for such a monumentally big truck. It just feels quite a bit smaller when you're driving it. And part of that is because of these huge windows all around. You can see the corners of the truck. When you can see the corner of a vehicle, you know where you're going. So overall, Ford has invested heavily in the design, the engineering of the body, the available engines, and one thing that they're still working on is the 10-speed automatic that will be coming in the F-150 down the road. Right now it's just a 6-speed, where most of the competition has 8 speeds, so that's something to keep an eye out for. Hopefully they'll also come and compete with Ram with a V6 turbo diesel engine. That would be a fantastic option in the F-150. So the F-150 starts at around $25,000, but with all the different engines, boxes, and beds that you can get with this truck, really sky is the limit, and they keep on pushing the higher end for people who want to spend a lot on their truck. This really is impressive new tech, available tech, standard tech, and a great looking package as well. It's the #1 truck, the #1 vehicle in Canada, and with all of the latest updates, it probably will be for years to come.